What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Ronnie Cole from Ron Cole Media. And with the high school football playoffs heating up, getting ready to head to the third round, means it's going to be heading to the championships soon, which also means that basketball season tip-off is right around the corner. And here at Ron Cole Media, we have our top 10 Midlands teams to watch out for and our Midlands players to watch out for in basketball, the 2021-22 season. So we're going to drop our top 10 teams for you right here, right now on the Ron Cole Media Top 10. Now coming in at number 10 is the Brooklyn KC Bearcats. Now the Bearcats finished the season last season at 9-5 with a 4-1 record in their region, and they lost in the first round to the Marlborough County Bulldogs. So they'll be looking to come back and build upon the season that they had last year, and they have a few players here that they can that they got coming back. One, Mr. Christian Ferguson, a 6'7" shooting forward. He's a sought-after player in his class, so it should make for a good season for the Bearcats. Now, coming in at number 9 will be the Orangeburg Wilkinson Bruins, led by their outstanding point guard, Horus Jakes. Now, the Bruins finished the season last year at 12-3, 3-0 in the region. They also lost in the third round of the playoffs to the Marlborough County Bulldogs. Now, we want to keep an eye out for the Bruins this year. Their coach, Willie Thomas, he's known for his high brand of pressure and his good teams throughout the state. He's been a few places and he's won more than a few his share of basketball games. So be on the lookout for the Orangeburg Wilkinson Bruins, our number 9 team in the Midlands Top 10, the Ron Cole Media Midlands Top 10. Now coming in at number 8 will be the Sumter Gamecocks. Now, Sumter's always lingering here near the top of the top 10. They're bringing back some good athletes, so we're going to keep an eye out for them and see where how their season goes and where they'll finish up and where they'll be moving up and down our top 10 during the season. Now coming in at the number 7 spot in our top 10 are the Blindfold Bengals. Now the Blindfold Bengals are always one of the top teams in the Midlands, finishing last year at 8-6 and 5-3 in the region, losing in the first round of the playoffs to Malden. Now typically the Bengals are very, very competitive in their region. When it comes to region time, they play a tough non-region schedule, which prepares them for the region schedule. Thus their outer conference schedule, record being 8-6, their overall record being 8-6, but going into the conference they're 5-3, so they know how to win games in conference and navigate their way to the playoffs. So we'll keep an eye out for the Blindfold Bengals, the number 17 in our Ron Cole Media Midlands Top 10. Now coming in at number 6 are the Dutch Fork Silver Foxes. Now the Silver Foxes had a pretty good team last year, finishing the season at 11-3, 6-2 in their region. Now they lost to eventual state champions, the River Bluff Gators, last season. So it should make for a good season this season with those two in the same region vying for that region title. So we will need to keep an eye out for the Dutch Fork Silver Foxes, coming in at number 6 in our Ron Cole Media Midlands Top 10. Also coming in here in our Ron Cole Media Midlands Top 10, we have the Irmo Yellow Jackets. The Irmo Yellow Jackets finished the season at 11-6 last year, 8-1 in their region, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs to Travelers Rest, a pretty good Travelers Rest team. Now Irmo brings back Dylan Williams, who is one of the top guards in the area and should carried the Yellow Jackets pretty far in the season this year. Should have them right back at the top of the heap in their region. So we need to keep an eye out for the Yellow Jackets coming in at number 5 in our Midlands top 10. Now, for the number 4 team in our Midlands top 10, a team that's perennially in every top 10, usually number 1 on their level, as far as the 2A level, and that is the WJ Keenan Raiders. The Raiders, led by Xavier Moultrie, finished the season at 13-6 last season, won their region with a 7-1 record, and they lost in the 3rd round to Seneca in the 3rd round of the playoffs. And they're led by guard Krishan Ori, who is one of our Midlands top players to watch coming into the 21-22 basketball season. So we want to keep an eye out for the Keenan Raiders, always on the top of the heap, usually competing for titles each and every season. So we're going to see how they're going to pan out and where they're going to finish in our Midlands top 10 this year as we get ready to head into another season of basketball, which brings us to our number 3 team in the Midlands top 10. Then that honor goes to the Ac4 Falcons. Now the Falcons, led by Coach Joshua Staley, finished the season at 11-2 last year and 6-1 in their region, and they lost in the 2nd round to a good South Point team. Now the Falcons once again this year are loaded, with Christopher Parker and Colin Murray Boyles coming back to lead the team. They're on a mission to try to win this state championship this year, and from all accounts, they're very focused, and it doesn't seem like they want anyone standing in their way of that title. So we're gonna see what Parker, Staley, and the boys over at AC4 do this year in order to maintain that high ranking, that number 3 ranking. Hopefully they'll move up and take over the number 1 or 2 spots from our 1 and 2 teams in this Midlands top 10, which leads us to our number 2 team in the Midlands top 10, and they are the Gray Collegiate War Eagles. Now, the Great Collegiate War Eagles are the defending 2A state champions, 8-0 in their region, 18-5 overall, led by Coach Dion LaFay. Now, Great Collegiate always has a loaded roster. They keep good, talented players. They're very well coached. They have they have loads of talent coming back on their roster, and they keep that energy. They keep that roster loaded and filled with talent every year. Coach Bethea does an excellent job out there coaching the young men. They have just a star-studded roster led by one of the Midlands' best players in Avante Parker. He's a 6'8" shooting forward, has a lot of offers on the table, and as we said, Gray, they perennially they're at the top each year. They travel the country playing some of the best competition, and that prepares them for a state slate that doesn't take it easy on them either, but they continue year in and year out to bring it and to pull championships out of the woodwork. So we will see what they'll bring to the table this year, Dion Bethea and the Great Collegiate War Eagles, which brings us to our number 1 team in the Midlands top 10, the Ron Cole Media Midlands top 10, and that is Coach Stoneman and the Ridgeview Blazers. The Blazers finished the season at 14-3, won their region 8-0, and lost to Dorman in the 2nd round of the state playoffs, which was tough. Coming in, they were expected to go ahead and repeat as state champions last year, but they were upended en route to that quest. Now they bring loads of talent back once again, but they're led by one of the state's top players in Greg Jackson. He is a highly sought after shooting forward, 6'9" tall, and he's a very good player. Very good player. He deserves all the accolades he's getting, all the press he's getting. He's a very good player, and they are, they're very loaded. Guard Xavier Moultrie is in that class with Jackson. Coach Stoneman keeps a loaded roster each year. They also travel the country playing some of the best competition, which prepares them for a tough conference slate when they get back inside of the state of South Carolina. So Ridgeview will be one of the tough teams to reckon with here in the Midlands, and you should look for them to probably be at the top once again this year, and hopefully they'll be competing for another state championship, which would make it what I think it's 4 in the last 5 years for the Blazers, and that is our Midlands Ron Cole Media Midlands top 10. And that is a fluid list. If your team wasn't on the list, then make the preseason list. Again, that is a preseason list, so that list is fluid, and it will be moving, and it's going to be fluid all season long as we keep an eye on the basketball season this year. Another list that will be fluid and that will change over the season, that will be players that probably will be added to, and players that we will probably be speaking on at different points during the basketball season, is our top players list. And as I said earlier, one of the top players in the Midlands that we were talking about on that Ridgeview, number 1 Midlands Ridgeview team, is Greg Jackson. Now, again, he is a 6'9" shooting forward out of Ridgeview, and the young man has game, and he has enough game to lead his team to another state championship. He's being highly recruited by lots of schools around the nation. He's probably going to have his pick when it comes time to sign for signing day. When it comes time to sign for basketball this year, because he's a very good player and he's highly sought after. Another one of our players, our number 2 player in our Midlands team players to watch this year, is great Collegiate of Parker. As we stated earlier, he's a 6'8" shooting forward, and he's already had a few offers himself, and he's used to being in the spotlight, being that Gray is, I said, perennially in the mix for championships every season. He's used to playing behind good talent, and he's used to being there with some of the best players on the court. So that experience should serve him very well this season. It should be a point where he's gonna get better as the season goes on. So definitely keep an eye out for that young man, Avante Parker of Gray Collegiate Academy. Now, another one of our players here to keep an eye out for is Isaiah Williams from Blythewood High School. He's a 6'6" shooting forward, and he's also an Air Force Academy commit. He has a good game. He knows how to get to the basket. He knows how to get his own shot. He's led the Blindfold Bengals here, over the last few years, and this is now his year to step up and see if he can get them over the top and get them to the championship. Once again, that is Isaiah Williams. Keep an eye out for that young man over there in Blythewood. Now, another player that we should be keeping an eye out for, a 6'5" guard out of Lexington, the young man Cam Scott. Now, Cam Scott is a top 10 guard in the class of 2024. 24. So he has a little bit of time left to develop his game and get better, being that he's a top player in the class of 2024. There should be a lot of big things coming from that young man this year. Lexington should look to be one of the teams on the rise that probably could crack our top 10 based on the performance of this young man, Cam Scott, and the rest of his teammates out there in Lexington. So let's keep an eye out for that young man, Cam Scott from Lexington High School. Now, also another player that we have in our top players to watch this season is Dylan Williams from Irmo. We've been hearing a lot of good things about this young man. He's a 6-foot guard, and he has good leadership ability from all accounts. And Irmo again is one of the teams in our Midlands top 10, and he was led by them last year, led them to an 8-1 region record. So it should be, expected that he can come back and do some of the same things that he's done last season with the Irmo Yellow Jackets, helping them, get over the top and possibly making the championship appearance, one that they haven't made here in a little while. So let's keep an eye out for Dylan Williams from Irmo High School. Now, another one of our players here in the Midlands to keep an eye out for is Montrevius White. He's another 5'10" guard from Gray Collegiate Academy out there with Coach Bate. He's doing his thing with his guys out there, man, and he keeps somebody out there that can lead his team, that can keep his team on the floor and keep his team in games, and eventually lead them to championships. And White is no exception to this rule. As I say, he's a 5'10" guard. He can distribute the ball. He can get it to his players. He can get his shot. He's definitely a leader on the floor. So we want to keep an eye out for this young man, Montrevius White from Gray Collegiate Academy. Now, another player we need to keep our eyes out for is another Irmo player by the name of Julian Juice Kit. Now, this young man, he's from word around the city is that he's one of your good players in the area. He's also being highly sought after. Again, Irmo finished 8-1 in their region last year, and it was definitely his presence there, more than likely contributed to the success of that team. Again, he's a 6'1" guard out of Irmo, South Carolina. So we want to keep an eye out for that young man as one of the top players to watch in the Midlands. They want to get, Irmo wants to get their guys going so they can, make themselves again a championship run. Another player that we want to keep an eye out for is Christopher Parker, a 6'4" shooting forward out of AC4. Now, this young man, he's been playing ball for a long time. I've coached him personally myself back in the middle school days, and he was a good athlete, good player then, one of the better players on that team as it pertains to AC Flora this year coming back. They also have 6'7" power forward Colin Murray Boyles, who's a big body inside. He's going to be a load to deal with. That's going to be a duo for the AC Flora Falcons, Coach Staley and the AC Flora Falcons to put on the floor and for a lot of teams to contend with this year as they look to make a run towards the state championship with those guys. Again, that's Colin Murray Boyles and Christopher Parker for the AC Falcons are two other players, top players in this area that we need to keep an eye out for. They're going to be making a little bit of noise this year. Keeping on with the theme of good players from the area, we have Krishan Ori from W.J. Keenan High School. Now, this young man is a 6'1" guard that can play, that can play the guard position very well. He can get his shot. He can get to the basket, and he has a little bit of rise to his game. He will, if given the opportunity, he will put it in on you really hard. So you want to keep an eye out for that young man over there at WJ Keenan. They're always in the contention for the state championship on a 3A level. Coach Norris keeps a pretty good squad. He's always been known as a fierce defensive team, his teams. So they're going to come out and they're going to give you hell on the court every time they're out. You're out playing the Raiders of Keenan. So you want to keep an eye out for that young man, Krishan Ori. Now staying with the theme of guards, we want to talk about Xavier Moultrie. He's a 2022 point guard from Ridgeview. Him and that team with Gigi Jackson should give teams fits this year. He's a 5'9" guard. He's a good distributor of the basketball, has a pretty good shot. And him and Jackson teaming together should give teams fits on the court this year for the Ridgeview Blazers. I personally think they're one of the teams to beat in the state. They're definitely one of the teams to beat in the Midlands, as they come in as our number 1 team in the Midlands, in our Midlands top 10 preseason poll. And I'm not looking for that to change anytime soon, unless they, suffer really bad during the during the preseason schedule, and they start just going south in the region schedule. But I don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Coming in, another one of our top players is from, of course, that factory out there with Dion Bethea is carrying on the great Collegiate Eagles. We have 6'2" shooting guard Calvin Hall. Once again, Gray is, they're just one of those teams that they just, they don't rebuild, they just reload. And they're going to be reloading again with talent this year in the form of Calvin Hall. And they are, again, he just reloads. He stocks up with players. He develops them very well. And a lot of kids, he's a good coach, Bethea, and a lot of kids wants to play for him. He knows how to win. He knows how to develop players. And, Calvin shouldn't be any exception to that rule. So we want to keep an eye out for that young man, Calvin Hall, the 6'2" shooting guard, from Great Collegiate Academy. Now, another player coming in from one of our top 10 teams, the number 10 team in our top 10 Midlands poll, is Christian Ferguson, 6'7" small forward from Brooklyn Casey High School. This young man jumped onto the radar over the summer. Right after the loss to Marlborough County in the playoffs, he started, popping up on radars, playing in little tournaments, things of that nature. And he's a lot of people have begun to take note. Schools have begun to take note. This young man has a very good game. He's going to turn a lot of heads this year. And if Brooklyn Casey intends to compete for a championship and stay in our Midlands top 10 poll, this young man is going to play a pivotal role in that. So let's keep an eye out for him, Christian Ferguson of Brooklyn Casey High School. Now, another player that we can talk about from the Midlands area is Gigi Gary, a 6'2" guard from Cardinal Newman High School. Now, Cardinal Newman, they haven't cracked our top 10 yet, but they also keep a few players out there that you want to keep an eye on, and they can sneak up into the public school ranks, and they can beat a few people as well. So we want to keep an eye out for Gigi Gary at the 6'2" guard at Cardinal Newman. Another player that we have that we need to keep an eye on is from our number 9 team, the Orangeburg Wilkerson Bruins, and that is Horus Jakes. He's a 6'2" guard Very shifty, very fast, can get his shot, can get to the basket, knows how to dish the rock. He's an all-around good player, Mr. Jakes is, so we want to keep an eye out for him. Once again, he's a 6'2 guard from Orangeburg Wilkinson High School. And coming in here, another player that we want to keep an eye on is Tori Kelly. He's a 5'10 guard from the area. The young man, he's a good player. He played for our team USC, Team Unleashed USC. So we want to keep an eye out for Tori Kelly. And last but not least, one of the top players in the Midlands is a 6'7 power forward from Westwood by the name of Arden Conyers. Now Conyers, he's a big body kid. Like I said, 6'7 power forward from Westwood. Now Westwood hadn't cracked our top 10 yet. They're usually a pretty solid basketball team. They have the ability to come in and put a beating on you if you don't watch yourself, and that's the same with a lot of our teams here in the Midlands. And we have a lot of other players in the Midlands that, as I stated earlier, we can keep an eye out for that can crack this list of players to watch throughout the season. We're going to be updating you on a lot of teams. We're going to update our list of top players. We're going to update our list of our top 10 list. We're going to be adding other lists as the season go on. I just need you to stay tuned. And if you have any teams, any players, anybody that you want to shout out, or you want us here at Ronco Media to take a look at, because we'll be keeping an eye on teams all season. As I said, that top 10, that top players list, it's a fluid list. It's going to be moving up and down all season. We'll give you a weekly preview on those, so you want to stay tuned here with us. Now, as I said, this is Ronnie Cole from Ronco Media. You want to stay tuned. Keep an eye out for us this season. As I said, the basketball season is tipping off. We're going to bring you lots of action. We're going to bring you lots of information on our top teams, our top players. We're going to have interviews with our top coaches and players. So you want to stay tuned with us here on the Midland Sports Report. Again, I'm Ron Cole, your host. Stay tuned. We're going to have an exciting basketball season. See you around.
Ron Cole Media.